Hey guys, this is Dalton Dismuke. This is the sports manager here at the Simmons Center. My name is Kevin. So the first question I ask everyone is, who is the hardest person you've ever had to play against in sports?
Yeah, probably the hardest one for me would be Justin Jackson. We went to the Altus tournament my junior year in high school for basketball, and he played for a homeschool team out of Houston, and he came up and they won the Altus tournament, and we had to play them, and I mean he was just a really good athlete. I mean 6'7", and I mean he could shoot, he could dribble, and I mean he was just a good player. And then he went on to North Carolina.
Okay,
He
yeah.
played there, and then I think he's in the NBA right now. So
And that's
yeah,
crazy. I didn't know you played against Justin Jackson.
yeah, we did, and I mean, yeah, it was an ugly game on the outside, but yeah, he was a good player.
Dang. So you graduated in 2015. So tell me about your high school experience and everything. And
Yeah, I mean, my high school experience was around sports. I mean, I played football, I played basketball, I threw shot put and disc and track. So I just went from one sport to the next. And I mean, nowadays, there's not a whole lot of kids that do that. A lot of kids just play one sport. But I just went from one sport to the next, and then I played on travel basketball teams. I mean, we traveled to Kansas City, we traveled to Houston, Las Vegas. So all during the summer, I went from basketball tournament to basketball tournament, and then we had workouts for football, and I just stayed busy all the time with sports. So
and how do you think sports is shaped you as a person?
yeah, I think sports is just great because it translates to your job. You gotta be able to get along with people. You've got to be able to show up on time. All those key things that sports teaches you. It translates right to your job.
Yeah.
You got to be able to get along with each other. You can't be arguing with each other.
Right.
So those key skills just translate straight to the job. So I think those have helped me a lot. I learned how to work hard. I learned how to show up on time, and just all those key skills.
Yeah. And so you coached for how many years did you coach for?
Yeah, I coached 4 years at
4 years.
Duncan. So
Okay.
and then I took this job last year.
Okay. So and how was coaching for the middle school kids? Was it a challenge to?
Yeah, it's a challenge because what a lot of people don't know is because I started out as an 8th grade coach the first year, and then the next 2 years I was the 7th and 8th grade coach, and there was 30 to 40 kids that come out in each grade. So just trying to, my big thing as a coach is I want to keep kids active. I don't like them standing around in lines. So, that was a challenge to me, is just coming up with drills where I could keep them active, where they're not just standing on the sideline, because, kids hate that. So,
Right.
That was the thing that I enjoyed, was just, the challenge of coming up with new drills and just trying to keep them busy, because, that's a key age, 7th and 8th grade. A lot of kids quit in that time. Trying to have them have fun and still get a lot of work done was key for me during those years.
And you took the sports managing job here at the Simmons Center. So what's kind of that about? What's the job description for that?
Yeah. The job description of here at the Simmons Center. I'm running camps. I give private lessons, and usually those are around basketball and volleyball. Those are my two big sports. I coached volleyball at Duncan for 4 years. So those are the camps I have. But then I have speed and agility camps. I have jumping camps. I have. Those are the real camps I have. And then we have leagues too. So we have flag football, which starts in the fall, and it's for kids ages 5 to 12, and it's just been growing. This past year was our biggest year yet.
That's good.
And then from that, we transition into Pee-wee basketball. So it's November and December, and it's ages like pre-K to 2nd grade. So And I mean that we made a change this past year because before we were playing 5-on-5, and now we changed to playing 3-on-3, and now kids have more room to play. And I think it's really going to help kids too because they had to play man defense.
Yeah.
So that was a key thing that we changed this past year. So I hope that helps basketball. And then after Christmas, we have our youth basketball league, which is 3rd grade through 6th grade, girls and boys.
You're gonna do any like adult league stuff for like the summer times and stuff, or how?
Yeah,
everybody wants to go.
Yeah, we actually had a adult league scheduled to start at the end of April, but then with all this pandemic, so I hope that if we can. If the city and the state, gives us the okay, I would like to have one this summer, or even having like a 3-on-3 tournament for
cool.
grown-ups or something.
That would be cool. That would be cool. So, let's see. So, what is like the hardest challenge from like going to like coaching? Is it kind of like the same style as like going from coaching to this? Like, is it the same kind of stuff applies?
Yeah, and it's a good mixture too. And then, one thing I didn't mention earlier is I have travel teams out of here too. So for volleyball and basketball, I get to coach a lot. So so that's one reason I took this job because I still get to coach during the summer with my travel basketball teams, and then travel volleyball runs from like January through April. So I still get to coach a lot.
Yeah.
And
summer's competitive, man. The summer team's competitive.
Yeah, and actually, hopefully that we still get to do some this summer, but I have 3 guys teams and 4 girls teams.
Man, you keep busy.
Yeah,
You're always moving.
Yeah, stay pretty busy.
Yeah,
but, I enjoy it.
Yeah. So, so as far as coaching, how do you think playing all those different sports has helped you? Like with coaching, do you think it's way different, or do you think it's just helped you a lot?
Yeah, I think it helped me a lot, especially with volleyball, because I signed up to coach basketball at Duncan, and then they asked me to help with volleyball, and I'm like, I never played volleyball.
Yeah.
I don't understand volleyball, but I think playing those different sports, I was able to just learn, and and actually now volleyball is one of my favorite sports because I went from knowing nothing to, I'm not going to say I'm a great coach, but I had to research and study, and just that challenge, I think it just, it makes me just really enjoy it now, because the basketball I played since 2nd grade, and it's kind of second nature to me, but I think playing all those different sports, it's just, because you got to overcome stuff, because it wasn't that I was in the gym playing basketball all year long. I played football, and then right after our last football game, had to get in the gym, had to get in shape.
Yeah.
Had to get my shot back. I don't know if I ever had a shot, but I had to somehow find my shot. So just playing different sports, it just helps you stay competitive, because sometimes I know people only play 1 or 2 sports, but sometimes if you're only playing one sport the whole year long, you kind of lose your competitive edge. So me playing 3 sports, I was being competitive in football, I was being competitive in basketball, I was being competitive in track, and then during the summer I was playing travel tournaments and stuff too. So I think that's a huge thing. Is just staying competitive. I never just took time off. I was just competitive all the time.
So, and where do you think like that competitive kind of drive kind of came from?
Yeah, I would say it probably came from my dad. He was a big, sports person. He played football at Southeastern, and he was a 3-sport athlete in high school. He played football, basketball, and track. So really what helped me was having an older brother. He's 4.5 years older than me, and he's 6'8".
Yeah.
300 plus. So having him, and I was always smaller, and I always had to keep up with him, and I think that helps a lot too. I've seen that with coaching is, usually the younger sibling kind of has an edge to them, because they always have to chase.
Try to be better,
And I always wanted to hang out with his friends, and I couldn't hang out unless I acted just like them. So I just had to try to catch up to him. So,
Yeah.
and I mean, it's always easier when you're chasing something. 'Cause, I mean,
Right.
if you're not chasing something, then you kind of get stagnant.
Yeah.
So.
And so football, basketball, and track. So out of those three, like, what was your favorite sport to play? Like, what were you like really most excited for when like the season rolled around?
Oh yeah, I mean it was the basketball for sure. Because I mean I was one. I mean I was always. I mean if I had time at home, I mean I was watching Sports Center. I mean I was getting stats on NBA players, on college players. So I mean I was a big stat guy. I mean I enjoyed. I mean, seeing what their shooting percentage was and all that. So I mean, yeah, basketball was my favorite sport for sure.
And so you played straight center, right? So
yeah, but I mean, I had a decent shot.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I was a good free throw shooter. I mean, I shot like 88% from the free throw line.
I did.
And I mean, I could hit a three. I mean,
Yeah.
I only shot like 4 my senior year, and I hit 2 of them. But I mean, I was such a big guy. I mean, it was hard for other teams to, stop me on the inside. So I mean, why shoot threes if you can score on the inside?
And I was wondering, like, because most people don't understand how like hard it is to play like down low all the time, and so,
yeah, because I mean, if you're playing down low, I mean, there's contact on every play.
And they don't even see that. People don't even realize. You know?
I mean, there's contact. I mean, if you're on one block and they swing the ball, then I mean, you've got to try to get across the lane, and that defender is just bumping you. And I mean, I learned a lot from Davison. I mean, he was really smart about, thinking the game. I mean, not just contact, but sometimes just be patient and let the defense do something wrong, and then you take advantage of it. So, I mean, that's a huge thing. I mean, you've got to be able to take contact, but you've also got to be able to think the game. I mean, you can't just be running around like crazy out there. I mean, you got to understand the game. So.
And so, what do you think? Like do you think the post is like the lost art of like basketball now, or do you think like every team needs one, or do you think it's kind of just faded away, like where we don't even need to have one anymore?
Well, I mean, as a coach, I like to teach my players to do everything. So I think guards need to be able to do post moves. I think post needs to be able to do post moves. But I think everybody needs to be able to dribble, pass, and shoot. Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of. It's not as important as it was back in the 80s and 90s, but if I have a guard, even like you, if I was coaching you and you cut through and you got somebody small on you, then just stay in there and go score. Yeah. But if you got somebody tall and slow on you, just go outside.
And that's what I tried to do. Mom would tell me to be well-rounded as possible. So that's what I tried to. I think that's what helped me in high school more than anything, because most guys like against like the Armor, they're just straight guards and they really don't know anything. You know what I mean? But like as soon as you like, okay, I can get back on. I'm in offense now. Yeah. Can do whatever. So. Let's see. So, after graduation, you went to Cameron.
Yes.
And then, what did you major in at Cameron?
Well, actually, I still haven't finished because I've kind of switched my major a few times, and with coaching, it was hard to take.
Busy,
15 hours, but I never dropped a class. I never failed a class or anything. I just kind of switched my major. I started out, I was going to get a math degree, and then about 2 years in, I'm like, gosh, these classes are hard. I was still passing them, but I'm like, I don't think I can do this. So then I switched to history, and that's where I've been since then. And I've only got about 2 classes left. So even with this job, it's a full-time job. And I didn't necessarily have to have a degree for it. So, I've been taking some classes online, and I've only got 2 classes left.
And so, like, when you get it, do you want to be like a teacher, like a history teacher, or do you like want to eventually get back at the high school and start coaching, or like what is like the plans?
Well, I don't know. It's just a roller coaster, really. But I really enjoy this job, so I'll probably stay here a while. So I'm not even thinking about other jobs really right now, but I could see myself in 10, 15 years. I might want to get back into teaching and coaching, but this job is really enjoyable because I see tons of kids, and I mean, between camps and my travel teams and leagues, I see thousands of kids a year.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy. Getting to see them, getting to work with them, and seeing them improve. Going from hill to hill. That's huge for me.
Yeah.
So.
And what do you think the biggest advantage is in like coaching?
The biggest advantage, I think the biggest advantage is, that you get to see kids, and that you get to see them. Just like I said, from where they are right now, just trying to help them improve just a little bit. It's not that. They're going to transform in one day, but just trying to get like 1% better every day. So, that's what I enjoy about coaching.
And so, because I never even really thought about coaching. Like my mom, was like, you should do it. And I'm like, I don't know. I feel like it's it's a little challenging.
And one thing that I would say to anybody that was interested in coaching or that is a young coach, you've got to be in charge though, because going from being a player to a coach, you're like, oh, I want to be the friend, and I'm not saying that you're just going to be mean to them, but you've got to let them know that you're in charge, so so you can get stuff done.
Yeah.
Because if they don't respect you and like you, then it's just chaos.
Yeah, and do you think that's kind of hard to kind of find that?
And I think it is as a young person, as a young coach, because even if I'm coaching 8th graders, they're 13 or 14 and I'm 23.
Yeah.
So the age gap is still kind of close.
Yeah.
So I think as you get older,
it'll be a little more easier.
Because just the closer you are in age, it's hard for. It'd be hard for me right now to scream at you and to tell you to do something.
Right.
Because,
we're so close.
Yeah, kind of close in age, but I think as that age gap gets bigger, then it's easier.
Yeah, that's why they get more scared. You know, yeah. So, so you coached a little bit at the high school too at the time.
Yeah, actually, my first year I was at the high school as an assistant. So that was when Colin and then
so I was a freshman then. I was a freshman.
Yeah, that was when Colin and Aaron and all of them were.
Man, that seems like a long time ago.
Yeah, it does feel like a while.
So, did you like the high school level, or did you kind of like the middle school?
It's kind of like what we were talking about. I enjoyed the high school because it's faster and all that, but just the age gap. I was coaching Aaron and Colin, and then
you just got done playing with them.
Yeah, I just got done playing with them. So going down to 7th and 8th grade was easier because the age gap was more.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I've heard stuff like that before. He's like the GA at Tabor, he was like a year old. He just got done. It was just so weird. They were just, it was just it's a lot different. It's a lot different. So let's see. So here's the bonus segment. I always do with everybody. So the first question is, what is your Mount Rushmore of athletes?
I kind of cheated on this question because I've watched your other podcast and I've kind of been thinking about it. And I think just Mount Rushmore, are people that changed the sport.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for basketball, Michael Jordan, and I would even put like Steph Curry in there because he changed the sport of basketball. Because when he came up, now kids, that's all they want to do is shoot threes and be a guard. And a lot of people say that that's a bad thing, but I think it's a good thing because it's just like you were saying about your mom. I think all players should be well-rounded.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't just be a dribbler or a passer or a post.
Yeah.
You need to be able to do everything. So I think Steph Curry was really important for kids to realize that you can do it. Because he's not a great athlete.
Right. He's not very big.
Not very big. So if you spend a lot of time in the gym and really focus on what you're doing, then you can be like Steph Curry.
But most people don't even realize that they just see him doing it and they think they can do it overnight. It's just I'm like, oh no, like no.
Yeah, and what I like to do with Steph Curry is I saw a video like before a game. He spends like an hour and a half just dribbling around his leg, passing with one hand, passing with two hands, and then he starts out shooting, and he shoots hundreds of shots from inside the lane, and then he works.
People don't even do that no more. People just usually go out there and start shooting,
Yeah, and then somebody else from my Mount Rushmore I was thinking about would be like Bo Jackson, because I mean he was really successful at two sports, and I mean he was really the first major star to do that. So I mean it's kind of like what we was talking about. I mean your Mount Rushmore is somebody that's transformed sports, and I mean even with what Bo Jackson did, I mean that's probably why Michael Jordan decided to go play baseball for those 2 years, because I mean he kind of wanted to be like him.
Yeah.
So yeah, those would probably be mine. Probably, I mean, Michael Jordan, Steph Curry, Bo Jackson, and I mean you could probably go on and on. But,
Yeah.
I mean I think those three are pretty good players.
That's interesting because nobody's even thought about Bo Jackson or Steph, in the questions. So, and so do you think LeBron? Do you think he's top 5 in your all-time list?
He probably is, just because I mean he's one of those athletes that you just don't see come around. I mean his size and speed, and I mean I'm kind of biased because I mean when I grew up, I mean I wanted to be just like him, because I mean he was so big, so fast, he could score. So yeah, I would probably put him in there, but I think it's tough to judge. Like if you ask McGuire.
Yeah, because he didn't even say LeBron. He said LeBron was 6 or 7 maybe on his list.
Yeah, or even Jamal. I mean, if you ask anybody, I mean, they're gonna go back to their childhood.
Yeah.
I mean, who they watched when they was growing up.
And I think it's special for us because like we're so young, like, we see LeBron every day, and it's. So like, and do you think Michael Jordan and those guys could survive like in this league with like the different rules and like how like spread out the court? Like, do you think it would be a little different for them to adjust? Like, how do you think? Because people say like he would average, like they say like Mike would average like 40 in this generation, But,
yeah, and I mean he probably would. I mean he'd probably be a different player too.
Yeah.
I mean he would probably shoot more threes, which I mean so he would probably score more because he would shoot more threes, because I mean that's just how the game is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he would do well.
Yeah.
I mean,
have you seen the Bulls documentary? Did you watch it?
Yeah,
that was great. I'm ready for Sunday. I cannot wait.
Yeah, I wish they all came out at once.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I could have watched all of them.
Yeah.
So the last question is, who's like your top 5 favorite artist? Just anybody.
Oh. That's really a tough question for me, because I mean I'm not really that big into music. I mean I just turn the radio on. And I just
for real? Yeah, I love music.
Yeah, so I'm not. I mean I'm kind of strange. I mean even like with shoes and clothing, and I mean I would put music in there. I mean as long as the clothing fits me, I don't care what brand it is. So, I mean shoes. I mean I don't care what brand of shoes I have. So I mean that would be the same with artists. I mean I really don't have it.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, I love music. I always like try to find like new artists to listen to.
Yeah, and I mean I like music. I just don't. I mean as long as it
sounds
good. I mean just go with it. I really don't follow anybody. So
man, that's crazy. All right, last question. So what's your favorite food to eat?
Oh, that's a tough one too. I like to eat. I mean, if you could see me on camera, I mean, you could tell. I mean, I like to eat. So probably, I like Chinese food, and I mean, it's tough because like Buffet King has been closed here for a long time. So yeah, Chinese food is probably my favorite, since I'm kind of craving it. I mean, since we've had it.
Yeah, I'm not even a big Chinese food. I don't like chicken and rice. That's the only thing I really eat.
Yeah.
I like American like cheeseburgers and stuff. I love that. But anyway, so thank you for having me.
Yep, you're welcome. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah. So what's the next step? Last question. So what do you think the next step of? So you watch a lot of Duncan basketball and like athletics. What do you think the next step is for like Duncan to grow and like be like? For the next couple of years.
I mean, I think we're on the right path, because I think we've got a lot of good young athletes coming. I mean, I know for sure next year, I mean, both the 7th and 8th grade teams on the guys' side are going to be really competitive. And I mean, I think, and I hope that my job here, I can help out too, because I mean, it's just like I said, kids at a young age, I mean, that's where they fall in love with sports. So, I mean, I hope guys and girls can fall in love with volleyball and basketball out here at the Simmons Center, and then that will translate to, success at the high school level. Because I mean, I know when I coached at Duncan, a lot of the kids I got in 7th grade could not dribble with their left hand, couldn't dribble with their right hand, couldn't do layups. So hopefully, I mean, we can improve that with the camps and leagues that we have here.
Okay. So, well, thank you once again.
Yep, you're welcome.
I appreciate you.
Yep.
So, yeah.